but have not received feedback, such as evaluators themselves. So general comments first about what happened this evening. I think that there are some good things. For instance, as some guests may be aware already, we're a very young club, started by Charles. So we're very new. There are a lot of new members, and the turnover rate is also very high because people graduate, because we're a school-based club. So I want to commend this club because there are lots of new attempts and experimentation by different people. I want to commend Ray and even guests for participating actively. Thank you very much for stepping up so quickly. On the flip side, because everyone is perhaps doing things for the first time, there are perhaps some hiccups or unanticipated instances that could have been prevented if we had taken the time to think ahead. For instance, I know that King, as the president, was very good in improvising. He was walking around, handing out sheets of agenda, and these slips throughout the meeting. Also, during the introduction of the evaluators, King stuck up to say, "Oh, Kathy, why don't you evaluate someone else on my behalf?" So these are all improvisations that are good, but could have been prevented if we had better planning. And another good thing that I saw was the engagement of the audience, and that I commend Irene for that. She made it an open forum, and everybody actively participated in giving her feedback. And I think when we take ownership, we definitely learn more. So these are things that was very good. At the same time, I think some of the things to improve is perhaps time management. Perhaps it was raining today, so people were late, and so room wasn't set up even after 7:30, and the meeting started 8 minutes late, so things that could have been done a bit smoother. So moving on to individual people based on the agenda. First of all, I'd like to give feedback to King, our president. I saw that one thing you did was that you warmly welcomed guests while they were seated and were waiting, and that's great to create a sense of warmness. And I would encourage other members actually to do the same. I mean, I was not doing that because I was doing some preparation, and perhaps other people were as well. But a lot of us are here for perhaps to grow our leadership skills, network, whatever. So that's an opportunity, small window, but you can leverage that. Secondly, for King, you definitely gave a very good opening remark, encouraging people. One perhaps suggestion is that you mentioned how, with regards to reaching a new horizon, you have already reached one today, since we have new members and whatever. I thought perhaps that is a very, I would imagine New Horizon to be more, in the future. So it's a bit narrow, and your goal could have been grander, yeah, to motivate us. So that's one thing. Moving on to our Toastmasters of the evening, Ray. Great job. I think one thing that struck me is you introduced each speaker very, very smoothly, tying back to interesting things like when you introduced Charles, you said you attended 10 weddings. Probably we could empathize with that. So very good job on that. One thing with regards to command of the stage is I think as Toastmasters, we always don't try to leave the stage unattended. And so, for instance, sometimes when you did not do it was when you asked the speaker to come up and you left the stage. But definitely we should stay there, shake our hands, pass the stage over to them, and then walk over. And when they leave, guest speakers as well, hand over the stage back to the Toastmasters by shaking their hand. It looks much smoother and nicer. And in terms of the content of your speech as well, you definitely try to create rapport with the group by saying, oh, it's a long, you probably have a long, tough day, let's say hi again. So it's definitely a good way to connect with the audience. I appreciated that. Moving on to Irene, I know a lot of people already gave you feedback. However, I really appreciated the 3-column approach to answer to Alvin's question. I think that's a lot of what a lot of Toastmasters wonder. How much do I remember or memorize? So that was a great tip. And within your session, Irene's session, I want to especially mention Charles. Charles, I know that Irene is your mentor, and she is our club's mentor. And you dared to give her feedback about, about the number of examples. It was too much, so I really thought it was, wow, really brave. And something to be commended.
I didn't say what's wrong.
You are very tactful. So it's good. Let me see. So in terms of, I'll move on to, let me see. Okay, Alvin's speech, Charles' speech. Okay, I'll move on to Alan, the table topic session, although he's not here. I think, sorry, Alan was the guest introduction. I'm not sure how earlier he arrived, but he did not seem to know who were the guests, and I was a bit surprised because as a guest, as guests, you probably would have felt more welcome if he had come and introduced himself and already can call your names out on stage. So that was something that I think in the future our club too could bear in mind. For Wallace's part, I know that Vincent already gave very good feedback, so I'm going to pass because time is tight. I'm aware of that. But I just want to comment on Vincent's evaluation. I think one thing that really struck me is the pace of your speaking was definitely slower than the rest of us, and I really like that. Because you actually get a bit of time to digest what you're saying. And as I'm saying that, I try to pace myself. So it's very good learning for us to slow it down. I think it's not only, when people slow down their pace. When people slow down and maybe speak even a bit softer instead of yelling very fast, and people actually pay attention when you have the difference. So good learning, good takeaway. And you definitely gave good feedback for each individual speaker, which I appreciated. Yep. Joey, how much time do I have? Okay, sure, okay. So now moving on to the last few roles, timekeeper, accountant, and grammarian. John, I really appreciated you because every time you're taking care of all these things with regards to your role, and you're always here being a timer, ready to help out. Thank you so much. I think that one thing you could have done would be to put the times on the whiteboard. Maybe like the requirement for the prepared speeches is 5 to 7 minutes, and then you write down their time, and then table topics requirement is 2 minutes, and then write down their time. It would have been much clearer for the rest of us to follow. For the ad counter, Johnny, thank you so much for helping out. You didn't even just count the odds, but you count ands, repetitions, etc. And so that's like adding value over what you're required to do, so that's great. Well, the grammarian, obviously Terrence did a great job in explaining your role. I'm so glad that when I introduced your role and when you introduced it again, it actually coincides. I liked how when you commended people, you mentioned the names, like Irene, I appreciate it because you did this, Alvin, you did that. But when you talked about things that could have been improved, you seem to have forgotten who did it. So that's great. I mean, we should be, tactful, right? I wish one thing that grammarians or language evaluators could do is to perhaps, send out evaluation, your observation, so that we can actually have that sink in and remember that after this. Because a lot of times we lose the value because we don't remember what we hear just once. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. And thank you very much.
All of us have learned something from Sharon's report. And next, I believe Vincent will have some words for us.
Maybe
right?
ping last. Maybe area governance comment ping last.
Okay.
Let me go first. Okay. How was Sharon performance at GE?
Great.
It is her first time. This is her first time. Okay. Sharon is the new VPE this year. I picked her. For her high standard. Okay. For me, have a wonderful events with new members. To me, it's already a new horizon. Okay. So I picked Sharon because she has set high standard. Always be critical and set high standard, high goal. I have to learn from her. Okay. In Toastmaster meeting, we put emphasis on user feedback, on the audience feedback. Therefore, the speakers already collect your feedback from other audience or participants. We always also put emphasis on motivation and encouragement. Therefore, every of you have votes for the three roles: best speaker, best table topic speaker, and best evaluator. It's time to announce the result and give us such encouragement. But let me find the ribbon first. Okay. Oh. Okay. Exciting moment has to be waited. Okay. First of all, best speaker follow the agenda, the order in the agenda. Best speaker, that means they prepare well. They come up with what is strike in their mind they want to share. Best speaker. Best speaker. I forgot. Best speaker. Originally, we do not include her.
Because I'm a guest.
But most audience vote for you.
Blame Ray, he did tell the audience not to vote the guest speaker.
Okay.
Next on the list.
But we already destroyed the vote.
Look, Terry, you did the counting, right?
Yeah, okay. The following, Charles.
Do you remember?
Yeah, Charles.
The second one, Charles, okay. Put your friend to Mary and able to give your speech, okay? Okay, we do not have a picture, okay? Oh, and another part is table topic is more challenging. We come up to think on our feet, okay? Best table topic.
Is there a name?
No name. Terry, you are younger. You remember well.
The first quiz.
Christopher. Yeah, we don't have a photo.
No, we can take one.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
We make a lot of effort to